Hello everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips, and I'll start with a couple of announcements as usual. First thing is March 7th, Columbus, Ohio, our Food Over Medicine Boot Camp, which we do only once a year. I might do it another time in the fall, but right now it's only scheduled for March 7th from 10 to 4 here in our office in Worthington, Ohio. It's based on my book, but there's always new information to share. I mean, I wrote that book a few years ago, and there's nothing in it that's incorrect, but there's more research on all the topics that are covered, and I'm anxious to share some of that new stuff with you. So if you've read my book or even taken the Food Over Medicine instructor course, I think you'll learn a lot by coming. So lots of time for questions, a great lunch is included, and anybody who comes can take the ticket fee and apply it to the Food Over Medicine instructor course if they would like to. So if you want some information, pampopper@msn.com, we can get you signed up, and I hope if you're in driving distance of Columbus, you'll come and spend the day with us. Second thing, remember, if you are not a member, you only have one more month. March 31st is the cutoff to earn a gift certificate for signing our Stop Talking, Start Doing pledge. So if you're planning to do that, this would be a good time to reach out and earn that certificate. It is a limited time thing, and March 31st, it is over. And then, of course, if you're a member, we've added all these great member benefits, including we pay you to learn. So if you're a member and you're not taking advantage of that, you want to get with us right away so we can fill you in on how you can learn and earn. All right, and one last thing, if you've thought about a career in our field, we have great training programs here. Would love to talk to you about them, so please send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. All right, I try to address one question that I think is important every week that comes from viewers, and a couple people have commented in recent weeks about when I'm talking about diet and what to eat and what not to eat and dietary patterns and that sort of thing. I've had a couple of people make comments about, it's just good to listen to your body and eat what your body tells you you should eat. And I do think people should listen to their bodies, and that can be everything from, a certain food doesn't agree with you, and if it doesn't, stop eating it, obviously, to I'm not hungry right now, so I'm not going to eat something, or I'm hungry, and even though it's 11 o'clock at night, I'm going to eat something. So I think that it is good to listen to your body. However, when people start practicing intuitive eating in an incorrect way, it sometimes becomes an excuse to eat something that you want to eat, and you're just trying to justify it. So people will say, well, I don't know, I just feel better when I eat chicken and fish, or I just feel better when I eat more meat, or that sort of thing. You can feel better doing a lot of things that aren't necessarily a good idea. I mean, sometimes people feel better after drinking wine, and sometimes people feel better after eating chocolate, but that's not necessarily a sign that wine drinking and chocolate eating are good ideas on a regular basis. I don't think there's anything the matter with either of those things when used as treats. Here's where I think intuitive eating can be helpful to people if it's applied right. One is, when I got started eating a better diet, one of the things that many people told me that it turned out to be completely false is I have always had a sweet tooth, and people said, oh, your sweet tooth is going to go away. It's never gone away. I changed my diet 28 years ago, and I still like sweet things. So knowing that, I make it a point to have two things in my house all the time: dried dates and dried figs, because they are super, super sweet. And when I have these periods of time, I don't know what triggers it, and I don't really care. But sometimes, and it's usually lunch, not dinner, I'll have lunch and I just want something sweet. And in my previous life, I would have gone and gotten a cookie or something of that nature. I don't do that anymore. But a couple of dates or a couple of figs, and it's sweet enough that it satisfies me. And I think that's a good idea to do. Listen to yourself. If you want something sweet after lunch, have something sweet. Just make it not cookies and find something better. Another example is I really like salty, crunchy kinds of things, and so I've posted a video, by the way, on the members website called A Tour of Pam's Kitchen that you can watch. And I show everybody everything that I have. But one thing that I've done is I buy these, very low fat crackers, very low in calories, and fat-free hummus. And so when I want to eat something that's snack-like, and I feel like having something salty, crunchy, snack-like food, in the past it would have been potato chips or Cheetos or some god-awful thing. Now I eat this instead. So I think sometimes what people do is they white knuckle it. I'm not going to have something sweet. I'm not going to let myself have anything snacky. And instead, it's just better to find something that you can satisfy that craving, if you want to call it that, so that you can just move on and get on to the next thing instead of trying to make yourself not have it. I mean, you hear me say things like this all the time here. If what's standing between you and death is crackers and hummus, you probably need to turn off the video you're watching right now and uncork the champagne and enjoy your last few hours on the planet, because I don't think I or somebody like me can help you. But on the other hand, if you're using this type of mentality to say, I want something sweet and cinnamon scones are it, I think I'll go get some because I feel better when I eat something sweet. That's a different kind of thing. So I think that you can use intuitive eating and what you feel like doing or eating or the thing that you're craving to choose healthy foods, and over time those become great substitutes and you really don't miss the other stuff so much. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. All right, so this is a new meta-analysis I want to share with you about a topic that comes up all the time. It shouldn't, but it still does. According to a new meta-analysis that included 16 studies, consuming 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut oil per day increases LDL cholesterol by an average of 10.47 milligrams per deciliter, which is not surprising since coconut oil contains about 90% saturated fat, which, by the way, is more than butter or lard. So we keep talking about coconut oil because people are still promoting it as if it's some kind of magical substance that will resolve anything that's wrong with you. Now, most research shows that saturated fat has a deleterious effect on health, but promoters of coconut oil have insisted that this is different because they say that the medium chain fatty acids in coconut oil have a shorter chemical structure than other fats and are thus absorbed more quickly and used immediately for energy. But coconut oil also contains long-chain saturated fatty acids like lauric acid, palmitic acid, which do increase cholesterol levels. So the argument that coconut oil is all good, not anything bad, is just on its face false. Now, the researchers, the ones who published this recent meta-analysis, acknowledge that a previous meta-analysis showed different results, and concluded that consuming coconut oil doesn't result in increases in LDL cholesterol. But that analysis included 6 studies. This current one includes 16. It's a little more thorough. Some of the studies in the analysis compared coconut oil to non-tropical oils like olive oil, soybean, or canola oil, which, by the way, were also found to increase cholesterol because excess fat intake of any type will increase cholesterol. Coconut oil consumption just led to a bigger increase. 4 of the studies compared coconut oil with palm oil, which contains only 50% saturated fat. And in these studies, palm oil definitely had a negative effect. It's just that coconut oil was worse because it has more saturated fat. So saturated fat has a negative effect on your health in a dose-dependent manner. So the lead researcher, Rob Van Dam, offers some advice in a Medscape article. He says there is, quote, no good reason to consume coconut oil to improve health. In contrast, high coconut consumption increases blood LDL cholesterol concentrations and may thus increase the risk of heart disease. So, in spite of this, a 2016 survey found that 72% of Americans continue to think that consuming coconut oil is good for health. According to Frank Sachs, MD, who authored an editorial in the same edition of the journal in which this meta-analysis appeared, he says this is due to, quote, remarkable success in marketing by the coconut oil and related industries, calling coconut oil a natural, healthful product despite its known action to increase LDL cholesterol, an established cause of atherosclerosis and cardiovascular events. So I'll add my advice: ignore the marketing and the hype, not just with coconut oil, but with everything else too. I mean, trendy foods and these things come and go. What really remains consistent is that low-fat, plant-based diets may not be hyped, but they remain the best choice for health. So a much more extensive article on coconut oil is in, and well-referenced, is in our library for those of you who are members. I continue to be amazed at how easy it is to say something that's patently wrong and convince other people that it's true. Even when I did the original coconut oil article, I found that many of the citations that people were using to support the use of coconut oil actually didn't support the use of coconut oil at all. But nonetheless, the marketing hype continues, not just for this, but for a lot of other things that aren't such a good idea. So pay attention to the science, and you're going to be a lot better off. All right, that's all for today. As usual, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it, and I'll be back to you on Thursday with more news.